Hello and welcome to Dog Hugs. Carolyn, great to see you.
Hi, Larry. Hi, Spider. Great to see
Good
you guys.
boy.
Great to see everybody
He's
joining
doing
in
so
today.
well. Yes,
Oh,
it is really great to be with you guys today. So,
it is.
yeah, I
Spider
know.
will have a lot to say about dog parks today and going out on dog walks today, won't he?
Dog walks has been really a challenge during COVID, and it's been a challenge for, I know, a lot of folks. We're walking the dogs differently, maybe more, maybe less.
Spider will have a lot to
Typically,
say about dog parks
Spider and
today
I,
and
before
going out on
COVID,
dog walks
were
today.
going to this neighborhood dog park every day. We're like fixtures. At certain times of day, we would be there. And now, we're not going at that time. The only
Right.
time, the only time I take Spider to the dog park now that I feel safe because people aren't wearing their masks as much as I would like is at dawn. I will take him at dawn to the dog park where
And
he
everyone else,
loves when
which is
there's
the best
nobody
time.
else. Yeah, it's a great time for Spider.
It
Tough,
is.
tough time for this night owl though.
Yes, the creative types do like to stay up a little bit later at night now, don't they?
Yeah, we keep our musicians hours.
But it's a thing. This dog park, kind of a dog park fear or fear of going to dog parks, and what the right etiquette is for when you have to get out in public. One thing that I always will teach all of my clients is
Yeah,
to do a little mental work before you go to the dog park or to out on a hike with your pet, so that your pet is mentally tired before you get out with them.
that's really smart and focused on
Focused.
you.
So
Focused on
they're
you.
able to focus.
Right. Yeah.
So you're going to demonstrate with Spider today because he's actually used to going through the busy box routine right now,
That's right. Well,
right? So
let's.
he's protesting. So we're going to change his routine a little bit today again.
Okay, great. Here we go. We're going to go from the laundry lounge into the studio, which has been set up so we can do a little bit of dog walking. And let's get it all set up here.
Perfect.
And there we go.
Nice.
And all right, now I'm going to leash up Spider, and I'm going to be off mic for a little bit.
Yeah, so we're actually going to have Larry leash up Spider because this is something that we want Spider to be able to have the trust in Larry to guide him through. And what I normally have my clients do is we do a around the kitchen table or around the dining room table routine where the dog will sit on every single corner and focus on you. That way you have a small enclosed space, they feel comfortable and safe. And in this case, in the awesome studio that Larry has, he's set up 4 cones that he is now has Spider on leash, and he's rewarding him for going from cone to cone and sitting at every cone. He's also going to mix it up in a little bit, but at the very beginning, we're asking him to sit at every corner, or in this case, sit at every cone. That way, we already have Spider's attention before we actually go out and venture in public, whether that be walking on a trail or maybe just going to the dog park. Maybe your pet's just going to jump in the car and run an errand with you, and you have someone else with you, so they'll be in the car with somebody while you run your errand. So we want them to have perfect etiquette, and we want to have really great communication that's just spot on during those times. But sometimes when you take your dog to the dog park or you take your dog on the trail, there are times when your dog has a little too much energy. This is a really great way to balance that energy before they go out on their walk or to the dog park. And also, you want them to be able to come to you when you call them every single time flawlessly. This is a really great time to practice that as well between the cones, having them sit at one cone and stay, and then coming to you. In this case, Larry's now going to take it up a level and ask Spider to, he's actually going slowly, so Spider goes the speed that Larry needs him to, and he's directing him with his hands so that he makes sure he's facing the proper direction for him. But most importantly, if you are going to go to the dog park or you are going to go on the trail, and we're going to discuss this in the show today. I we love your questions, so we love when you ask us questions, and we got a really great question recently regarding what the proper etiquette is for meeting strangers' dogs and letting your allowing your pet to meet other strange dogs. Oh look, so happy. So do you see how his energy is very balanced right now? He's very focused on Larry. He knows exactly what to do and when, and he does it with a big smile. And so I love the fact that he has such great communication, and Larry has amazing patience, and has actually able to work out a lot of that cattle dog energy with all of these great tricks. So now he's advanced up to some more intermediate and advanced levels, but using your cones or using some kind of a table or some place where you can grab 4 points, you can even put something down on the floor, a magazine, something that they can see as a target, then you can practice this at home before you go out on the trail or go to, say, we mentioned earlier, like the dog park. We have some amazing dog parks out here. Oh, now we're going to go with distraction. So this is Spider's favorite toy. It's a hippopotamus pajama Kong toy. And what we're trying to do here, Larry is doing his best and Spider's doing his best to keep Spider's focus on what Larry's asking him to do instead of on the toy. So starting the distraction therapy in the house is the best place to do it. As you can tell, they're in a safe space. Spider knows he can relax. But most importantly, he is understanding that even though that distraction is there, he still is placed his attention on Dad. Now, it takes a few times. It's not easy. I know when certain things are placed in front of me, I go, and I have a hard time refocusing on whatever it was I was doing. But this is the exact same case for Spider. He would really love to have that toy, but he is mastering being able to focus on Dad right now. Oh, and then now they're doing footsies. Yes, another advanced trick, which he is so brilliant at. And now as a reward, let's see what he's going to do. Now he's going to bring up his distraction to the platform. And he is paused and he's waiting. Now he gets it as a reward. So what a great model, a way to model for you all a couple of different ways that you can, a couple of different tools, the different ways that you can master mentally wearing your pet out before you, say, go to the dog park or go for a walk on the trail. That way, as they are now getting their physical exercise, they've had their mental exercise and have a great balance. Great job, Spider.
He is doing so well. You know, even though my background is more in training, um, I think a well socialized, if I had my choice, I'd have a well socialized dog even more than a well trained dog. A dog who can get along in the world.
It's
And
such a great point,
and they
Larry.
don't have to be mutually exclusive, of course, but sometimes I think we underemphasize how important socialization and good manners, good etiquette is. So
We do. We
you got the
really do.
most you got the most wonderful question coming in your mail, and we do receive a lot of ask the dog trainer questions, and you can go to Positively Woof and send us your Ask the Dog Trainer questions. And a lot of them we've already answered on the site. But a number of your questions we will bring to the show, to dog. Question, Geraldine.
I did. I'm really grateful for my cohorts. I went back to school. I go back to school this Monday, actually, for from last year, my master's. And of course, everyone, all my cohorts know I'm such a dog crazy and cat crazy person, right? So I received this amazing question after one of my cohorts had traveled out of state with his pets. And to hone it down, I'm going to read a little bit of it to you because it really is important. And we'll discuss it as we go through it.
Yeah.
He said, I think our basic question is, what is the etiquette for interacting with strange dogs in public? Our assumption while in Breckenridge was the following. Always have your dog on a leash in public, especially when it's required. Well, of course you should. Your dog should be on a leash at all times, even if it is well trained. It's not your dog I'm worried about. It's another dog that might come try to interact with your dog improperly, and then you have no control over your dog when it's trying to defend itself. So you cannot protect your dog as well if you don't have your leash, and it should not be a retractable. I know how to use retractables very well. I'm not putting retractables down. I just think you should have a 6-foot comfortable in your hand leash that has a really great clip on it. He then went on to say, when coming up to someone with a dog, ask before allowing your dog to enter into the other dog's space. Well, absolutely. This is my dance space, and I like Larry, but even if Larry comes too close into my dance space, I might say, hey, Larry, back up a little. So can you imagine how your dogs feel or someone else's dogs feel when the interaction is just not appropriate?
And they're waiting for cues from us, ideally.
Correct. And if you haven't given those, if you don't have that communication down with your pets about those cues, that would be something great to work on while you're doing what Larry and Spider just did, which is going from cone to cone and sitting for your beginning exercise before you leave. That way they have your cue of sitting with me or going off when you give them permission to do something, even if it's just a tinkle.
It's amazing how a skill developed in the studio or at home or in the yard or in front of my home goes out the window when we're in a foreign place, when there's a squirrel or a really barky dog or a child on a bicycle, and
Correct.
it all has to be retaught in the moment.
Correct. And you did a great job today with, you could tell with the distraction toy, you could tell Spider really wanted it, but he went straight to, ooh, I'm gonna listen to Dad, which I was really proud of.
Bring it up here. Hup, hup. Bring it,
I
Spider.
always ask permission if I'm going to enter into another dog's space, even if that dog is so cute and I just want to squeeze it. I always ask permission, always will. And it's something that you should always do because you never know what that dog is experiencing for. Look at the hippo.
Yeah, I'm going to do a trade right now.
A fair trade?
Well, it's not a very fair trade, you know. A very fair trade would be for equal or greater value. And
of course.
That was just a couple of pieces of kibble.
Hey, but to him, that was amazing.
For him, that was amazing. He does want his hippo, though. Yeah, and I'm gonna put it back up on the shelf, and I'll be right back here.
Absolutely. We're gonna go on to a little bit more about the same question, which is, and Larry will hop on his headphones in just a second. Assume that other people or dogs may not want your dog in their space. Because it's true, your dog or the other person may not want, their dog may not want your dog or you in their space. They may not feel well. They may have just recovered from a surgery. This may be their first or second time out in public since this occurred. We don't want to assume that we have a happy, healthy, perfect pet that we're walking up to every single time. Also, they might be in training. I always ask, are you currently in training with your pet? Because if they are, they may want you to walk up and say hi. That may be requested because that may feel like round out their training day.
Yeah,
so
part of the socialization is so critical. I try to view every walk as a training opportunity. It's a real challenge right now with, limits on actual interaction.
It is. It's so tough. You cannot get as close. And also, if you're smart and you only have a 6-foot leash, or maybe, or something short in that range, then your dogs are going to meet and you're going to be 6 foot from the human. That's borderline right now. I prefer everybody stay a little farther from each other. And this poses an issue with future walks, future interactions that are going to occur. So that's why this information is so important to start practicing now, so that as we are able to start going out and about more later, or even just practicing now proper etiquette, so that we limit the number of not only separation anxieties and social anxieties, but socialization and being able to keep your pet's attention while you're in public.
Really, really key.
There's also another tidbit. Oh, go ahead, Larry.
Is there more in this letter that you received?
Well, there's one more that's really important for us to discuss, and that is don't get offended if someone asks you to leash your dog if your dog is off leash in that area, especially if it's an area that has a leash law.
Amen.
And I would suggest checking out what your area laws are. You should really know if you own a pet in that area what those laws are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was certainly the very, very public incident a couple of months ago in Central Park, New York, where the bird watcher asked the woman to leash up her dog, and it became a thing.
Terrible thing.
Yeah.
I mean, jobs were lost over that. Yeah. Friendships were lost over that. A riot stirred inside of everyone over that, dog lover or not. So best practice, I'm kind of paranoid. My dogs, if they are off my immediate property, are on leash. Sometimes when they're in the car, which I have to be really careful, I'm very careful. I keep them in their kennels. I may keep their leash on them so when they come jumping out of the car, I have a leash to grab immediately. Yeah. Where I'm going, I'm so careful, and I'm monitoring them all the time. They know not to chew on their leashes. They know to lay down and stay while they're in the car. Don't have them up running around.
Yeah, I have Spider in a seatbelt in the car.
Yes.
When I first got him, I wasn't using any kind of harness or kennel in the car. And we were literally traveling on the freeway. And suddenly I realized my back window is down. I thought I had inadvertently left it down, but little did I know that Spider had managed to push the button to roll the window down.
By accident, yes.
Know? And so it's like, oh, now I got to lock the windows. And
correct.
Of course, harness Spider.
Well, I've always been a proponent of a seatbelt for your pet, and I've tried many because I've tested quite a few of them for different companies. So there are a few that I love. And then my favorite is to have them in a kennel.
Yeah.
In the back. So I'm lucky to have an SUV. I have a kennel. I have him locked in at all times, locked in the kennel to keep them all down. Because if you do, or if you're hit by someone and your pet is not harnessed in properly, it can cause a lot of trouble. Never get offended if somebody asks you to leash your pet, especially if you're in an area where it's a leash law, or especially if it's a dangerous area. I would definitely not be offended. I would just do that. As a trainer, I'm kind of controlling in the way that my pets are always on their leashes. They're always, I have them actually crated in my car, in the back of my car, where it's as safe as possible, and where they're kind of locked down inside of that area. And when they come out, they're on leash right away, regardless, even if I'm going to a pet park. We have one that I love that has a beach here in Kansas, that I prefer to teach my pets to swim there. Nice. Which is neat, but it is definitely something you don't want to get offended by. You should not be arguing with someone if they ask you to do that. You should just kindly say yes. Yeah, please.
You know, and it's really interesting. I mean, there have been times where somebody has asked me to do something and I got triggered by, even like, my little shadow voice who knows better says, you don't know who I am, and I just have to tell that little shadow voice, it's like, you're okay. You could sit on my shoulder, but you don't get to speak.
Right. Right.
So I'm going to pay attention to this shoulder. And
exactly.
say, you're right. Thank you. I'm sorry.
And there are a lot of questions that are wrapped around how to travel with your pet and travel to pet parks and how to go out on trails and interact. And so we encourage you to ask us those questions. We're here to answer those for you for free. We want for you to have the best basic knowledge that you could ever find out anywhere out in the internet world for your pets, so that you have better interaction, better socialization, answer your questions for you, and give you the tips that we know are winners.
Amen.
Tested, tried, and true.
Beautiful. Shelter shout out?
My shelter shout out, Kansas City Pet Project. They're doing such amazing things. I love all of our shelters here in this area, but I really want a lot of focus on them right now for all the changes they're making in the world of new shelter, the way they're handling shelters.
Great organization. We really loved having Teresa Johnson, the CEO of Kansas City Pet Project, on Dog Hugs.
She's
great
fantastic.
organization. Yeah, real model for the country. And I'm going with Snooty Giggles in Tennessee. Love the name. And that's where one of the Perandi stunt dogs, Coda, was adopted from. And
We love Coda.
yeah, the Perandis are actually on tour. They were able to go to one place very safely. They're there right now this week performing in Utah. If you get a chance to see them, let us know and say hello to them.
Please do.
But big star Coda just had an operation. Yeah, and so he's unable to perform. He's sitting there in the RV while all his brothers and sisters are performing. And
probably not very happy about it, but he deserves
a
break right now.
Yeah, so he gets a little break while he recovers for his operation. Yes.
So good luck, Coda, in your recovery.
Amen. Yeah. Gratitude, blessings.
I have a very special gratitude and blessing today to your girlfriend, Jen, for allowing you away to work on her birthday weekend. It's very sweet of her, and we appreciate her for more reasons than that.
Amen.
She's lovely and a great cat mom.
That's right. She's a great cat mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
so thank you, Jen. We really appreciate you very much.
Thank you, my love. Similarly,
and happy birthday.
My gratitude, my blessings go to her 3 kids, and that gave her such a great rest of the birthday weekend. They took her on an online, what's it called? Escape room adventure.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Nice.
So,
did they escape? Were they successful?
Well, let's see. I haven't heard a peep out of any of them.
Fantastic.
That was really great. Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining us on Dog Hugs, and we look forward to celebrating dogs again tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Carolyn, all the best to you. And
thank you, Larry, as always, and thank you all of you for coming in and joining us every day.